All right. So today I am excited to be joined by Carson Younger, a local expert up in the Florida Panhandle. Carson is a young realtor up in the Florida Panhandle in Pensacola, who's proud of the beautiful area that he lives in and is just excited to share his wonderful town and the local things that are happening to everybody who may be looking to call Pensacola home. So let's welcome Carson Younger to the podcast.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me on, Chris. How's it going today?
It's going pretty good, man. I appreciate you coming on. The Agent to Agent podcast, we just kind of got this launched. So, we're working through some of the new things, but I'm super excited to have you on as a guest, man. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. So awesome. So let's jump right into it. So Carson, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. How did you get into real estate to kind of set the stage here?
I could go a couple different ways, but I've been in real estate up here in the Panhandle for about 3 years. But fast forward even further back than that, I started working for myself back at the ripe age of 14. I started to raise money for a mission trip, actually. I had to raise $1,500 in order to go with my church to Honduras. And I printed out these flyers, passed them around to all the neighbors nearby my neighborhood, and ended up landing some jobs. I got one working for the HOA cutting grass, and then picked up 2 or 3 other clients. Fast forward a couple months, I have enough money to go on my trip, but COVID comes along and cancels our mission trip. So I don't get to go, but I'm accidentally left with an operating business. So I keep doing that next couple of years. I'm still in high school at this point. Really learned to enjoy working half the amount of time as my friends, making 2-3 times as much. So I keep that going and really just discover being an entrepreneur. And I just like working for myself. And then it comes about a year away from college decision-making time. I know I don't want to cut grass forever, but I have no idea what I want to do. So I reach out to all of my family friends that own businesses. First one just so happened to be a real estate team leader. Hey, is there a role in your business, paid, unpaid, maybe more like an internship, where I can come and just learn? I just want new exposure. I want to work, but I want to try new things and maybe see if I can find something that will point me in the direction of a career one day. Sure. And I was an unpaid intern there for a little over a year, started doing social media stuff, which is paying dividends right now, doing property management stuff, doing some photography. So I got pretty well-rounded while I was 17, 18 years old, tons of real estate exposure. But amidst everything I learned, the biggest takeaways were really getting to know the other agents on the team, because I was like, at first I came in almost idolizing them. I'm like, wow, these guys are doing 30 deals a year. I mean, these are true experts. And then as I got to know them over the next 6, 12 months, I was like, there's no reason I can't do this. Like, nothing against these guys, but there's nothing special that I can't do myself. Like, I have the soft skills. I can learn the hard stuff. And then from there, I feel like I can be in their shoes in 2 or 3 years. And that was 2 or 3 years ago.
And here you are.
And here I am. Mm-hmm. Yep. I've since left that team. It was great foundational starting point. I wouldn't change that. Great people I was surrounded by, and I wouldn't be here otherwise.
I've heard some great things. So, I mean, my career started off as a solo agent, but I've heard some just great things about starting off on the team aspect, because you get to see so many other different workings that, as somebody who's looking to grow a team.
And Chris, there's just so many lessons you don't have to learn the hard way. If you're one of those people that can watch other people do it and learn that way rather than having to actually carry it out yourself, then that's where you buy the years back.
So what would you say is like, it's hard to say the one big nugget, right? But what are like a few of the biggest nuggets that you feel you took away from that team that's going to help propel and launch you into your solo career as a single agent right now?
A lot of longer term lessons, actually. I get to watch my team leader run a team in a very difficult time in this industry. I mean, I came in when it was hot. That was really when I started as an intern. And then from there, things kind of fell off into 22 into 23, 24. So, I mean, he struggled and there was some struggle, and I got to watch a lot of that, and I got to learn those lessons on his dime, not mine, which I'm very thankful for. And I got to see it when it wasn't all pretty. And a lot of those lessons I'm going to take with me in the future, if and when I do decide to start my own team.
That's awesome. So speaking of a team, right? We can't build a team without people to serve, right? And a market to serve. So what do you love most? What would you say you love most about the market that you work in? And, what types of clients do you enjoy working with? Like who's your
My market surprises a lot of people. It really catches a lot of people off guard. Pensacola is I like to say a small town on our way to becoming a medium-sized town, how I like to describe it. But a lot of people in other parts of the country and other major metro markets, they might not know about Pensacola. They might not know about our beaches. I say some of the best beaches in the country. I think they rival and beat some of the beaches in Central and South Florida and many other parts of the country as well. And it just doesn't have a lot of exposure. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do through social media. And that's a big way I generate business. But I really love seeing the surprise on people's faces when they find out about like what our area has to offer for the first time.
Yeah. Well, I've seen you on social media, and you're getting that social media is definitely getting you're definitely doing a lot there, and giving people an idea of what Pensacola is all about. So like for somebody who's never been to the city, right, or who may be looking to visit, or maybe even considering relocating there, how would you describe the vibe of the area that you're?
The vibe we really have more of a small town vibe. Our central downtown area is about 15 minutes from the beach. Our beaches are out on barrier islands, so they're a little further separated from town. But Pensacola has more of a small town vibe. We have a lot of influence from New Orleans. I mean, anyone that would come to town would be able to tell. A lot from New Orleans, a little bit from Mobile. We're the city of Five Flags, so I mean, you're going to have a lot of Spanish, a lot of French influence in there, and it just really crafts a unique melting pot. But on a small town, it's nothing big like New Orleans or anything like that.
Right. So you get a lot of the benefits or a lot of the feels of those areas, but you get that small town vibe, it sounds like.
On top of, we're still in Florida. So you have some of the Florida culture on top of the rest of the Gulf Coast.
Yeah. So it definitely sounds like, everybody thinks about the melting pot in Florida as kind of like down south, right? But it sounds like you have a pretty good melting pot, if you will, up there in the Panhandle too.
It's different. It's different. And that's what people say. It's not like the rest of the state. I mean, and sometimes it's a running joke that we're lower Alabama, but I think culturally we're still separate from them, but also we're different from the rest of the state of Florida too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what are some of the like must visit local spots or restaurants or part? It sounds like you got, New Orleans stuff. Sounds like there's some Spanish infused things too. I mean, what are some of the?
Yeah, we got a lot of great local seafood. Joe Patty's. We have a fantastic seafood market that people from all across come from just to get seafood here. But I definitely got to go check out all the different beaches. We have a lot of different beach towns, and they all have their own different feel, own different flair. Pensacola Beach, Navarre Beach are some of the slower ones. And they're all seasonal, but versus something like Destin or versus something more like Gulf Shores, all within an hour's drive of Pensacola.
Yeah, I've been to Destin before. That was a long time ago, but
it is beautiful.
Beautiful beach. So you said you have a lot of beach towns. Roughly how many beach towns or beach towns do you guys have?
Within my service area, the area that I'll service for business, I'll go about an hour and a half in each direction. So for me, that looks like Gulf Shores to Orange Beach, to Perdido Key to Pensacola Beach. And then that's from west coming east to Pensacola, and then further east you have Pensacola, Navarre Beach, you have Destin, and Miramar Beach, and then that dwarfs into the 38 area. Then you'll see Panama City Beach.
Gotcha. Do you have a specific favorite beach yourself that you enjoy going to?
I'm biased. I've grown up here in Pensacola. Pensacola Beach is my favorite. Yeah, I'll be purchasing out in Pensacola Beach one day.
Okay, there you go. Awesome.
It's my favorite size. It's right in the middle. It's bigger than Navarre Beach, a little more established, but nothing on the tourist scale of a Destin or more of a Gulf Shores.
Okay, so more of like a local beach, I guess. Is it not like as busy where you're having to deal with all of that stuff?
Usually not. Last weekend though, we did. Pensacola's home to the Blue Angels. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
I am. Yeah, you were just there this past weekend.
Yes, I was just there every summer. We have our homecoming show. I mean, the Blue Angels go and fly. They do air shows all over the country. A big Navy squadron, and they every year we do it at Pensacola Beach because we're the home of the Blue Angels. It's that like second week in July, and there's over 100,000 people on Pensacola Beach, which is a small island to hold that many people. And that's not counting the countless boats that come by, and there's so many people. That's one of the Pensacola highlights of the year. You can't miss it.
That's all. I might have to make a trip up there next year. Actually, I'm sure that sounds like something the kids would really enjoy going to see. I'm sure that would be an experience
It's
for them.
fantastic.
So cool, man. What about some hidden gems, right? So beaches. I know that you mentioned beaches. I'm sure that's a big thing up in your market. But what are some of the hidden gems that you'd say people don't really know about?
I'd say the area as a whole, because our biggest hidden gem really is our price point. Um, because
Okay.
you live in town in Pensacola, 20, 30 minutes from the beach at our average price point of $330,000. And that
Wow.
catches a lot of people off guard. That really
Wow.
catches a lot of people off guard because affordability, people moving even from a market like Orlando or any other medium-sized city coming to Pensacola, they can really spread out.
Yeah, because I mean that's so great. That's a fantastic price point. Even we're nowhere close to the beach here in Orlando, and you said 330.
$330,000. That's in Pensacola. Some of the other cities will fluctuate a little bit, but also, Chris, think about the cities that people might consider moving to instead of Pensacola. If they're going to move to maybe a Charleston or maybe a Boca Raton, I mean, their average price point is double ours, 3 times, 4 times ours. If you want to talk about Naples or anything further south in Florida,
Yeah.
that's why, in my opinion, one of the big reasons our area has really exploded over the past 10, 15 years. Because as Central and as South Florida have gotten more expensive, it's really started to price out a lot of the people already down there and a lot of people considering moving down there. So they have to start considering alternatives now. And our area is really a nice honey hole for that. And it's not quite as hot. It's still hot. Don't get me wrong. It's still sweaty, crazy, nasty hot. Still pretty humid too. But us right there, especially that explosion just over the state line in Alabama in Orange Beach and Gulf Shores, especially given how low their state property taxes are.
Awesome, man. So what would you say that, like, when people get there, right? People who are moving from out of town or when they finally get there, what would you say? What are people falling in love with in your city? Right?
It's really that vibe. We maintain more of a southern feel than, in my opinion, than some of the cities further south in Central and South Florida. So it's that small town southern feel, but big enough for people to enjoy in very close proximity to the beaches. That's really what people like. We're super heavy military. We're one of the highest per capita military areas in the country here in the Panhandle. We have 8 or 9 bases. Very heavy military, or very heavy Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard presence here.
Wow, I did not know that. I mean, it makes sense, but yeah, never.
Well, you have the Naval Air Station here in Pensacola. That's where the Blue Angels are stationed. And then you have a couple big bases out towards Destin, towards areas like Crestview.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so Eglin Air Force Base is one of the bigger ones in the country. I mean, it's big enough they do bomb testing out there. It's massive.
So you guys, is it more of an air face? Can't even speak right now. Air Force base, like, would you say that the more prominent of the military bases that are out there?
That's probably the biggest one. Our Navy base is massive too. Really heavy Navy and heavy Air Force.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, awesome. And you'll see a lot. I mean, we have a lot of transfers here, and you'll see so many people utilizing their VA benefits here in the area, which is always fantastic to see, especially when younger soldiers come here, and then I get to help them set up their financial journey off right when they're 20, 21, 22. Like, I love doing that.
That's awesome, man.
So already thinking about buying a house. Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, would you say, is that like the major buyers in your market, like, as they're coming in, would you say it's a predominantly military base, people being transferred
Not 100%, because you're seeing a lot of people relocate just for the beaches and just for that quality of life. And like I mentioned about our price point, I think our area really is undervalued given the quality of life and given everything you can get, and our affordability living here as far as cost of living is pretty low too. So I think until our average price point continues to rise and reaches more of an equilibrium, I think we're going to continue to have an influx of people moving to our area from other parts of the country until that kind of stables out. We've seen a lot of growth.
That's very cool. So how long do you think how long do you see, because you've been there, you've grown up there, like how long do you see this trend happening before you kind of like reach that equilibrium that
I could see I mean, we have a lot of growth. I could see our metro population doubling, and I don't think that's an exaggeration.
Yeah. About how long do you think that it would take for your metro population to double based on what you're seeing?
That would take 25 to 30 years.
Okay. That's still huge though.
But that's still insane growth.
Yeah. Awesome. What kind of tips do you have for people who may be considering moving into the area?
Come check it out. Like I was saying, all the different beach areas, and then there's all these different towns 10, 20, 30 minutes in from the beach.
Yeah.
They all have a different feel. So before you come in and before you'd want to start looking around at homes, I'd come spend some time, maybe come on a short, on a vacation, take a long weekend to Pensacola Beach. And I would explore, drive around, and that's really the only way to get a feel for it. You got to have the boots on the ground here, smell it, feel it, touch it. I mean, that's the only way. You gotta do that. You got to figure out which restaurants are good.
Yeah. Restaurants are important.
Restaurants are important.
Would you say, do you guys have more like a mom and pop style restaurants as opposed to like I call them like the franchise restaurants, right?
I mean, everywhere is going to have a ton of franchise restaurants.
Yeah.
But our favorites are the mom and pop, the local ones.
The local ones.
Especially as far as like the seafood restaurant on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not going to a franchise when you're on vacation.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. And you'll be able to tell the good ones stay really busy.
Yeah, the ones that we got like a 45-minute wait or longer than that sometimes.
Yeah, 45-minute wait in the summer? Sign me up.
Awesome, man. Well, so tell us a little bit. So what would you say? So you've been in the business for a little bit. What are your clients saying that really kind of sets you apart from, the other options that they could go with? Like what sets you apart as a real estate agent in your servicing?
A lot of my clients, like we were mentioning with social media earlier, a lot of my clients get to know me through social media, and they already trust me or build that confidence in me before they even get here. So they feel like they're not taking a risk. Like if you're moving into a city you've never been to before, know nothing about, don't know anybody, you probably don't know a real estate agent, you don't know any local professionals, any vendors. They've already seen me online. They've already seen my content. Maybe they've been following me for a couple months. I've reached out to them and we've already had a conversation. They feel like they have a small vote in confidence in me already. They're not going in completely blind as if they were to just randomly choose a professional, and you get what you get. And both you and I know the stats of how many real estate professionals actually do good at their job. 70-something haven't even sold a home in the past year. So you really are shooting blind unless you have done some form of diligence before. And I feel like that's why my clients are happy with me, because they come in with confidence, and then throughout the transaction, I continue that with transparency. And I'm very educational. Like I said, dealing with younger military kids, for example, I really like especially when they hadn't done it before. I really like making sure they know exactly what they're signing up for. And sometimes they don't even realize all the benefits to home ownership.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So back to that educational piece.
And that's so important. And in my opinion, that's what so many people skimp out on.
I think that that's probably one of the most important pieces, right? Because as an agent, I think that, there's this thought in a lot of people's minds that we're there for the transaction, right? That we're there to buy and sell the home and get that home closed. But, so much responsibility and so much of the job and the work kind of comes into that education and making the client and the customers feel like they're empowered and that they know what's going on, right? So that they can ultimately make that decision for themselves. So we're really just a guide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. But sometimes it's the blind leading the blind. If you get an irresponsible realtor trying to help somebody who knows nothing about the area, they can't help themselves. There's no fail safes there.
Yeah.
So that's why, especially when you're going into an area you're unfamiliar with, that's why it's super important to either do a little bit of diligence like this, or get somebody Chris has recommended, like have some sort of vetting process. Please don't go in blind.
Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Well, so Carson, if an agent has a client moving your way, or if we have a viewer on here who is considering, making a move up to the Panhandle in the Pensacola area, how should they connect with you? I know social is a big one for you. So
100%. Social is a big one for me. Chris will pop my information up, but social media is awesome for me, especially Instagram. Find me at Carson Sells the Panhandle. Shoot me a DM, and I treat Instagram DMs like text. So
That's
I'll
awesome.
be right there back at you.
Love that. And then before we go, talking to our fellow agents out there, in your own words, what would you say? Why should agents keep you top of mind for their referrals when they come in?
Because of my area, everybody wants to come to Florida. Everybody wants to move away from the cold. They should remember where I live. They should remember where I live.
Remember that Carson is in the Panhandle up in Pensacola, and he is your go-to for whenever you need anything up in that area.
All right. Sounds good, Chris. Thank you so much for having me. This was a great experience.
Man. Thanks so much for being part of the show. I was very excited having a conversation with you. Hopefully we'll have you on in a future episode down the line. But thanks for tuning in, sharing with us a little bit about your area and your market and just who Carson is. So, man, until the next time.
Yes, sir.
All right.